I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Hello, ARMY and Korean entertainment fans around the world. Tonight, something we've been waiting for has officially turned a corner, and Top K-pop is ready to take you on an experience filled with laughter, nostalgia, and a warmth that never loses its charm. On April 23rd, 2026, the world changed for a moment when Run BTS 2.0 returned with its premiere episode. The day, which had been filled with longing, immediately exploded into a frenzy of excitement. There was something in the air, an energy that can only be created when the 7 most beloved men in the world are back together, and the camera once again captured a dynamic that had only been a dream. The first episode began with something seemingly simple, yet always a lethal weapon in their variety history: room assignments at a vacation home. From the very beginning, the atmosphere was a mix of drama, comedy, and friendship that felt completely natural. The audience was immediately treated to moments that showed that despite the passage of time, their chemistry remained exactly the same: warm, mischievous, and full of little antics that made their hearts smile. This room assignment was a real laugh-out-loud moment. Jungkook, the golden Maknae, once again stole the show thanks to an almost unbelievable stroke of luck. He secured a luxurious room all to himself, a victory so dramatic that the Hyungs could only stare with a mix of envy, despair, and comical resignation. Meanwhile, the older brothers had to contend with being crammed into rooms of vastly different sizes. Jin and Jimin were paired together, a combination that immediately had ARMYs imagining the human Tom and Jerry chaos that would ensue throughout the night. But the biggest surprise came from the rap line: RM, Suga, and J-Hope, who had to share a super small room with Taeyoon. One bed, for people, lots of complaining, and endless laughter. It was the complete package that made this episode instantly explode on social media. As the room tour unfolded, the members' expressions were simply priceless. Cameras from various angles captured moments of laughter, gasps of disbelief, and spontaneous comments that made everyone feel like they were there. "No way Jungkook got his own room?" one member exclaimed, his tone somewhere between jealousy and comedy. After the bedroom fun, the members began exploring the house. The warm atmosphere transformed into a high-energy play arena. They initially tried to find Taeyoon, who had been hiding too neatly. But that mission changed completely when a pillow on the sofa triggered a completely unplanned pillow fight. Within seconds, the living room transformed into a hilarious battlefield filled with screams, laughter, and reckless pillow smashing. Jin, Jungkook, and Jimin led the chaos, creating a comedy movie atmosphere, enhanced by the natural slow-motion effect of the constant laughter. The chaos escalated further when the lights dimmed and the dark zombie challenge began. They wandered aimlessly, trying to scare each other, and every small bump resulted in screams and laughter that brought the house to life. It was moments like these that millions of viewers had been longing for: honest, natural silliness that felt like they weren't performing for the camera, but simply being themselves. One of the most iconic highlights was the close-up of Jungkook's face. His innocent laugh, his sweet expressions, and the way he closes his eyes while laughing made ARMYs smile involuntarily. Although Jungkook has matured into a more masculine man in his recent solo content, in front of his Hyungs, he's back to his adorable little self, his golden baby energy that never fades. This episode also showcased Jungkook's versatile side, especially when they played the traditional Korean game Jujutsugi. With a plain white shirt and a focused expression, Jungkook demonstrated his incredible athletic ability, even in such a simple game. ARMYs flooded social media with comments like, "He just can't help but be good at everything." His earnestness always exudes a charm that's hard to resist. Of course, there were also nostalgic moments as this traditional game transported viewers back to the early days of Run BTS all those years ago. Their closeness, brotherhood, and sincerity were so strong. It felt as if time had never separated them. The dark zombie challenges, the banter in the cramped room, the laughter from the dining room, and the way they tease each other, all combine to create an emotional experience that will touch the hearts of fans old and new. However, the excitement of the first episode of Run BTS 2.0 didn't stop there. After all the laughter, chaos, and games that made the house feel like a giant playground, the atmosphere slowly shifted to a warmer, more meaningful moment. The night wore on, but the intimacy between the 7 members only deepened, as if the togetherness they'd built throughout the day was slowly reconnecting something that had been lost during their respective breaks. When the camera returned to the living room, the members seemed to be relaxing, but their playful aura hadn't diminished at all. Jungkook was still hugging his pillow and joking about his treasure, in the form of a luxurious bedroom lamp that only he could enjoy. Jimin tried to coax Jin into stealing Jungkook's snack allowance from the kitchen. RM laughed softly, saying that he had given up on understanding the Maknae's luck since 2013. Suga, on the other hand, simply watched with a small smile, with an air of, "I knew you'd all be noisy again 5 minutes from now." And sure enough, the calm didn't last long. As if a new electricity had flowed through their bodies, J-Hope suddenly came up with a new idea, a freestyle challenge game. No clear rules, no prizes, and no logic. A concept that sounded like a complete disaster from the start. Taehyung immediately stood up with an excited expression, while the other members could only stare at each other with eyes that said, "Okay, we're going to get lost in the chaos again." The game started with a very simple challenge, imitating each other's styles, complete with the signature expressions that often appeared in their past content. Jungkook tried to imitate RM's wise leader style, but ended up going too far, making RM burst out laughing. Jin tried to imitate Jimin's spoiled angry expression, but ended up sounding like someone who had ordered the wrong food at a restaurant. J-Hope imitated Suga's cool style, while Suga himself just shook his head with a disbelieving smile. And Taehyung, he decided to imitate Jungkook, complete with overly enthusiastic steps and that signature chuckle. Jungkook had to hold his stomach from laughing so hard at his wildly inaccurate version of Taekuki. The moment saw the members sitting in a circle in the living room, and the camera captured an atmosphere that felt more like a family reunion than a variety show. There were no roles, no concepts, just the pure interaction of 7 friends rediscovering their old rhythm. They shared little stories about absurd things that happened during their personal activities, about new favorite foods they'd tried, and even about ridiculous challenges they'd faced while filming their personal content. Jin recounted how he almost spilled candy at an overhead concert. J-Hope confessed he lost his own sandals during a vlog shoot, and Jungkook admitted he bought exercise equipment only to wear it twice. RM, as usual, added a philosophical analogy that made everyone pause for a moment before bursting into laughter again. Just as they were getting a little too relaxed, the crew announced that there was one more challenge left to play. A mystery game in the dark, more intense than the previous zombie challenge. This time, they had to navigate a small obstacle course while carrying a specific object without dropping it. Before the game began, Jungkook and Taehyung had a small argument about strategy. Jungkook wanted to use his physical strength, while Taehyung insisted that intuition was more important than muscle. Jimin simply stared at the two of them and said, "You two are the same. One is impulsive with muscles, the other is impulsive with feelings." That made everyone laugh out loud. The lights went down and the game began. The atmosphere immediately transformed into a comedy, survival movie. They groped against the walls, bumped into chairs, tugged at each other's clothes, and screamed at every little noise. RM was the one bumping into the furniture the most, while Jungkook and Jimin seemed the most enthusiastic in their pursuit of victory. Taehyung, on the other hand, was enjoying his role as the little ghost, appearing suddenly behind Suga only to hear Suga curse under his breath. When the game ended, the house was filled with almost continuous laughter for several minutes. They fell to the floor, catching their breaths as they teased each other. Jungkook lay on the sofa, wiping away tears of laughter. J-Hope repeatedly stated that he wasn't ready to be the target of Taehyung's ghost. RM raised his hands in surrender, having already collided with too many objects that night.